Croeso, welcome to another Flames War Battle Report. Bit of a special one for me today because we've got Frank from Panzerschule over for a remote game. This is his first remote game from the other side of the camera, because I know he's been doing them himself. So he'll be playing using the Bagration German book, and I'll be using the D-Day British. Here's today's mission, Scouts Out. I have played this mission before, but it was under a different name because it was from the Waffen SS D-Day book. I can't remember what it was called back then, but it's the same mission. Well, very challenging. I know Panzerschule basically played a game on his channel in preparation for this, so he's prepared. Yeah, it should be an interesting game. And hopefully we'll both be very aggressive and not just sit back and plug away at each other. So hopefully we'll have a bit of an incentive to come out of our respective defensive zones. So here is my Canadian-British force today. I have a Sherman Armoured Squadron that has been upgraded to Canadian Division Determination, so it gives them a 3+ remount, which will be no doubt handy. So we have a HQ of 2 Shermans, and then we have 2 troops which are the same, which is 3 Shermans and 1 Sherman Firefly. We then have 1 more troop, which is just 2 Shermans and 1 Firefly, and that is it for the Canadians. We have a second formation. We have a motor company, we have a HQ, and then 2 platoons of 4 Bren gun teams, and they have a 2-inch mortar and a Piat. There's also 2 universal carrier patrols with them, so that is 3 universal carriers. Still in that formation we have 4 6-pounder anti-tank guns, 4 Vickers heavy machine guns, and 4 3-inch mortars. And to round out the force, we have 2 Daimler troops. So there's 2 Daimlers and 1 Dingo each. And that's it, 100 points of D-Day British. And here is the German list for today. It is a Panzer IV company, so we have a HQ of 2 Panzer IVs, and then we have 2 platoons of 4 Panzer IVs, and still in the formation we have an Armoured Panzer Grenadier platoon with Panzerfausts. In support we have 4 Marders, and then we also have an SD KFZ 221 and 222 troop. So also could just be called a light scout troop. So that is 1 with an MG and 2 with 2cm guns. We also have 3 Vesps and a Panzer III OP. And that is it. So let's have a look at the table. So here's today's table, trying to make it as interesting as possible and always trying to break up the line of sight. Apart from this highway down the middle, it's going to be a bit of a killing ground if anyone goes down there. So we have a little bit of a farm complex with a hill, we have some nice little fields, and then a factory complex, as you can see, adjoined by a railway and switching station that sneaks across the board. And there's a little bit of a rise there, a ridge line, sorry. There's a few forests scattered around in the centre of the table with another hill. We have a river, so that's just going to be a cross check, and the forwards are going to be a terrain dash. We have a few more fields over here in the corner, and then we have a small little town made up of a few houses and a little church. And that is it for today's table. So it's Scouts Out, so we're going to be picking table quarters, and it might be a bit of a slow burner this one because it's going to take a while for our stuff to come on, and I'm pretty much going to be digging in and waiting for the rest of the armour to turn up. So we will get over to deployment. Okay, we are fully deployed. I picked this corner over here, and of course then Frank had to go in this corner. So I did do a little spearhead with the universal carriers, and I put the Daimlers in there and Shermans just to get a little bit of a jump up. I have a platoon of motor infantry by here, Vickers heavy machine guns on the hill, HQ in the middle with the 6-pounders and mortars in the woods, another motor platoon here, and then the Daimlers. So for me in reserve I have the rest of the Sherman squadron, so that's the HQ, the big platoon and the short platoon and universal carriers. So over here we see a OP hiding in the rubble. Then we have a platoon and the HQ of Panzer IVs, the Vesps in the field, and then we have the Armoured Grenadiers mounted up. So in reserve we have 4 more Panzer IVs, the Marders and the Scout cars. So that is it, so we're ready to go. So first things first, good luck, Frank. I know you're, hopefully this is the game where your blitz moves and shooting scoots will not start doing well for you. So we will start off with who's going first. So I'll roll in my tray and I will tell you what I get and I'll show you. So I get 2.
2, right. Going first in this game isn't necessarily best. I roll a 6.
Oh, there it is. Okay, okay, so we have Germans going first. Okay, so this is German movement and the rest of the turn, since there will be no artillery. Basically, all Panzer IVs did a terrain dash over just to get out of line of sight from the ridge, because that's where my Shermans might go. You never know. So there we go. So it's over to me in my turn 1. Okay, movement for me. The Daimlers have moved up cross country and also follow me. Sherman's done a tactical behind the ridge line so I can maybe blitz onto it next turn. UCs are with them. Motor platoon is moving up towards the factories with the HQ. Other motor platoon has gone into this terrace building to secure the objective, and the other Daimler just going to have a little drive around the corner. So shooting wise, I'm going to have to see if I can see anything with artillery. Might be on extreme range for guns, so I'll have a look, and if not, we're going to German turn 2. Okay, so we have had 2 successful blitz moves with the Panzer IVs. So 2 of them had enough to get clear shots on the Shermans here, the Sherman Firefly to be precise, and they're within 8 inches, so that's no fobbing off for me. One of them is out of command of the unit leader, so that might help me out a bit, but we might not see a Firefly. The other successful blitz was the HQ, just enough to get him into the field, so my Daimlers are going to have to take some hits, but they are on the ground, so that's okay. So we are going into German shooting, finally. So, I say so, finally, I didn't shoot anything, so we are going into shooting. German shooting, I am sweating a little bit. Basically, the 2 Panzer IVs got hits. Short range, I do have front armour facing, luckily. Failed both my armour, but 2 failed fire powers, so lucky there. The rest of the Panzer IVs went for the scout troop, got 1 hit, needing a 7. Again, another bail. So there we go. And then the Vesps ranged in, got a hit on a UC, which is bailed, and then a hit on the Firefly bypassed my save. So 1 passed save from me so far, and that is it for German shooting. So hopefully these guys get back in. They're Canadians, so they get back on a 3, but the Firefly would be 3 anyway, so hopefully, fingers crossed, they're getting back in. And I get the roll for reserves this turn as well, because it's turn 3. So, no it's not, it's turn 2, it's mine turn 2, so it's turn 2 for me. Okay, got all but 1 in, which was a Sherman, but the Firefly got back in. So hopefully he can get rid of these 2 Panzer IVs who were cheeky enough to go for him. And that is it. So we'll go into movement. I'll jig some things around, and hopefully I can get rid of 2 Panzer IVs and go from there. Okay, movement. These guys did a terrain dash with a cross here, but they all failed to cross. I then did a follow me, and he got over, and the Dingo did, but this guy didn't. Universal Carriers just basically moved out of the way for 2 of the Shermans to move to get clear shots on the Panzer IVs with the Firefly, and the infantry are there for added security in case I can't get them, although they are in the open now. HQ's gone along with them, and these guys are continuing their sweep around, doing a terrain dash and a follow me. So I finally get to shoot something. Fingers crossed I actually hit stuff. So we will go into British shooting. Okay, so shooting. The 2 Shermans missed, needing 3s. So I got rid of those dice. Then got 2 4s with the Firefly, and then a 4 and a 3 on my firepower, because no armour save from a 17 pounder. So the infantry had nothing to do. I then went to fire a smoke round with my 2-inch mortar, but they don't have smoke rounds, so I didn't. And that is it. So that's my shooting done. So we now go into turn 3 for the Germans. No motivations for the Germans, although they're going to be quite secure with the 3 pluses they have, especially with the HQ there. But the 3 will not get you in reserves, which what Frank rolled. So we're going into German movement. Although I think one of the Panzer IVs can see some Shermans where it is. So there'll be some return fire on the Shermans. Okay, so the dilemma is the defend or attack, and as Frank said, he can't defend. I think he thinks I've got a really good plan going on, but I'm just winging it at the moment, and dice are going okay. So all the remaining Panzer IVs have done a tactical move using the cover from their buddies to get clear shots on me, so the dice go in his favour again because I need 5s on my reply. And that is it. So we're going into shooting. 4 shots. I have 4 tanks left. Well, let's hope the Firefly lives and doesn't run away. So let's see if it can work. Okay, so 3 out of 4 hits were really good for the Germans, but I was fobbing them off onto the bailed out guy and he was bouncing them. And we did have 1 failed. Oh no, it was 1 equal, which resulted in a bail. And then the artillery bailed another universal carrier and almost had a chance to kill some more, but my armour saves are just good, too good. So we go into British turn 3, and if I can get some of these tanks in, as hopefully I can mop up these Panzer IVs and go from there. Okay, so for remount, failed to get one of the Shermans in on a 1, which is okay. And good news in, my reserves are coming in, which is going to be the big platoon of Sherman. So we will see if I can get them into a place where I can shoot, and we'll go from there in British movement. Okay, British movement. Reserves have come on tactically, so I can shoot. And the other Shermans, 2 have moved onto the ridge, but there's no room for this guy, so he is stuck by here. Universal carriers did a tactical and then a follow me, but failed, but this guy is contesting. Tried to do a blitz with the Daimlers and failed, so I just did a tactical, moved them into the courtyard, so they're okay. Infantry wrapping around the Panzer IVs. Hopefully assault might go my way, we'll see. And then we have the Piat who hasn't moved. The other Daimlers have done their traditional terrain dash, no follow me here because they were in short range of the Panzer III, but they're going to remain gone to ground for them this turn. And that is it, so we go into shooting and wish me luck, I guess. Okay, British shooting, I only got 1 hit, and that was my regular Sherman onto the HQ, and then Frank bounced it. So dice swings. I'm not going to assault with the infantry because he'll have to deal with me next turn, so that's other stuff that's going to have to fire, hopefully. He's going to have to deal with the universal carrier, and he's going to have to deal with my Shermans on the ridge, so hopefully things go my favour. But I do feel reserves are going to be coming in next turn for German turn 4. Not looking good. No reserves again, as in turn 4. So, German movement. Okay, so German movement. The Panzer Grenadiers have moved over in their half tracks to hose down the infantry. And that is it for movement. So now we're going into shooting. Okay, we have the shooting phase. Smoke got dropped by the Vesps by here to stop these guys shooting from where they are. The Panzer IVs, the HQ, and well, all 4 of them fired at this platoon. Finally, the Firefly is dead, and another Sherman, but one is bailed and one is not. So I need to get him back in, because although this is 3 plus remount, their last stand is still a 4. The infantry then got pinned by the half tracks, but they survived. 2 failed saves, but the firepower, because the Rebel is bulletproof. Panzer IVs, HQ failed a shooting scoot, and then the other guys had nowhere to go. So that is it. So now we go into British turn 4. Okay, motivations, bad. Failed to get back in, and then failed my last stand, so the Shermans are gone here. But good news, the rest of the Shermans are coming in. 2 6s for my reserves, but I have a river to get over, so well, we'll have to go that way then. So we're going into British movement. British movement, 3 failed cross checks to get over this river, so it's not happening. 1 is just hiding. The other Sherman's done a cross country and moving over this way, and that is going to be it for them. And the Daimlers passed a blitz move, but one of them failed to get over, so I'm in the side of the HQ, so fingers crossed I can get that. And we have the Daimlers over here doing a tactical, maybe pick off this OP as I try and go for this objective, because he's slowing me down at the moment. So I'm going to start off with my own smoke barrage if I can do it, so we'll see if that works. Okay, my Daimler managed to kill the Panzer IV. It was already bailed from a Piat, but he mistaken targeted that guy, unfortunately, otherwise I might have got a sneaky win there. As you can see, I did do a smoke barrage going across, and that is it. The other Daimlers did take a shot at the Panzer III OP, but I didn't get it. So there we go. So we go into German turn 5. Okay, German motivation, the Vesp is in, and 2 units are coming in from reserve this time. So it's the Panzer IVs and the Marders. But I don't think they'll have enough to get and contest the objective. So it's still the guys on the table are going to have to do the heavy hitting. So we go into German movement. Okay, everything's starting to get reinforced now. So the Panzer IVs are moved over, all contesting the objective now. And the Panzer Grenadier platoon has moved up as well. The other Panzer IVs are moving up too. And then we got the Marders basically about to obliterate these poor Daimlers. Hopefully not, but we'll see. So we're going into German shooting. Okay, so this is the turn the scout cars get absolutely hammered. These guys are very dangerous last turn, so quite rightly they've been obliterated. And then my poor guys over here who shouldn't have fired last turn also got obliterated by Marders, but the Dingo survived, so you never know. You never know. So we also had the half tracks not getting any kills. And then the Vesps ranged in 3rd attempt and got no hits, so that was a bit unfortunate there. My platoon is still pinned from last turn though, so that could make a difference. But there's a lot on this objective now, so we will be going into British turn 5. The infantry do not rally, they need a 5 because they're war weary, and they did not with the pass with the reroll, unfortunately. But this Dingo here loves it, so maybe he can do a little sneak. But yeah, that's it. So we go into British movement, and my final reserves coming on anyway, so we'll see what I can do with them. So we're going into movement. Okay, British movement. Shermans have finally got on the river. My short platoon is on the hill, and my HQ is by here. Universal Carry just moved over to the side a little bit just to help get some, block and line of sight. HQ has moved into the building, and my pin platoon has dug in. Universal Carriers have gone along the road, failed to follow me, and my Dingo did a tactical and a follow me, and is contesting the objective, just contesting the objective. So we go into British shooting. Okay, shooting. I have managed to kill the Panzer IV HQ and a panzer from the unit. And that is it, unfortunately. So I still have more to kill. The grenadiers are parked on the objective as well, so plenty more to go, but this guy is going to be last standing now and no HQ for the cheeky rerolls. So we're going into German turn 6. This guy's loving it. He is past his last stand, so the armoured cars are coming in, which will probably deal with my dingo. So the Marders are freed up to wreak havoc on what's left of my Sherman platoon, and then it will be, well, I think Frank will have to do some moving about then, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, German movement. These guys have done a blitz move, the half-tracks. So 2 of them are on the edge of the field, and these 2 are contesting with the Panzer IV. These Panzer IVs remain stationary, and the Marders have moved behind because they'll be shooting the guys on the hill most likely, so they'll be able to go straight through. And armoured cars have come in, and it's going to be goodbye dingo, unfortunately. So here we go into German shooting. Okay, on the ridge, 1 bailed Sherman and 1 dead Firefly, so need to get back in. These guys got ranged in on, but luckily all okay. And going over, the half-tracks have gone to ground, and this guy got 4 hits on him for the cannons, and I rolled a lot of 1s and 2s, so he is well and truly dead. Salute to you, sir. You did your best. So we're going into British turn 6. Okay, motivation's passed. Sherman's back in past the last time, but I've only got Shermans left on the ridge. Infantry have finally unpinned, so I might be able to do something with them. So we go into British movement. Okay, British movement. The Sherman and the Firefly moved up to get shots. What else? Infantry are moving up, and the HQ is in the factory, and Universal Carriers are hidden behind this factory here. So that is it. So we go into shooting, and there's gone to ground half-tracks there, so they're going to be very, very tricky to get rid of. Okay, in the shooting step, I finally got rid of the Panzer IV, 1 of the half-tracks contesting the objective, and then another one from that platoon as well, and just bailed another one. So it's going to have to be an assault to get rid of this half-track and hopefully cause it to fail its counter, and I can sneak it there. So in the assault step, I'm going to do a shoot and scoot on the guys on the ridge, and not my HQ, because 1 of them moved. So the guys on the ridge, I'll do a shoot and scoot for them, and then I'll go into the assault. Okay, no shoot and scoot. I just chose not to do it, and no assault. I'm going to have to just keep them there. It's too much defensive fire. I'd have to move 1 base in to negate the Panzer IV and the Grenadiers getting in, but it's not enough, unfortunately, so this motor platoon might bite the dust. But it's another thing for Frank to shoot at. So we're going into German turn 7. Okay, so the half-track did not get back in, and the other half-track ran away, so no more half-tracks. The Grenadiers did not pass a rally, and they actually have a Panzerschreck as well. So I've actually added that base in somewhere. I just got out of the box, but I'll find it. Oh no, there he is. He's there. So, but they're pinned, so they can't move forward. So these Panzer IVs are going to have to move forward to keep hold of the objective and probably get rid of these Universal Carriers while they're at it. So we do have a movement phase in turn 7. Okay, German movement. The Grenadiers are all out and they've dug in. So 2 of the Grenadiers, are contesting the objective. The Panzer IVs passed a blitz and are within short range of this platoon, and the scout cars have moved up so they can shoot at these 3 bases of the motor platoon. And to move them forward is hoping for better, and the Marders remain stationary, so could see some casualties mounting up on the British here. So we're going into German shooting. Okay, so shooting wise, 1 of the motor platoon are dead, but they're pinned. 3 Shermans, including my last remaining Firefly, have gone to Panzer IVs. Marder's got no hits, and that is it. Shooting scoot wise, these guys passed a shooting scoot and went further forward. Panzer IV's failed, so we go into British turn 7. Okay, infantry did not rally, and again another Sherman has run away. So again, thin on the ground on tanks over here. And well, if these tanks go, this game's gonna run on a little bit longer. So we're going into British movement. Okay, British movement. The HQ Shermans have moved forward. Guys on the hill have stayed there. Universal carriers stationary. These guys have dug in, and these universal carriers have moved around. So that is it. So maybe I can pick off a few more Panzer IVs. That'd be very nice. So we're going into shooting. All I managed was 1 bale on a Panzer IV. That's not enough. I got a lot of hits on the infantry, but no kills. They are dug in, which is perfect. And I did a shooting scoot on the guys here, and that is all I can do. So I do feel the Sherman formation is going to be gone next turn. Fingers crossed I can keep them alive for a little bit longer. So here we go into German turn 8. German motivation all fails, so one less Panzer III to worry about, Panzer IV to worry about. I'm thinking mid-war, and the infantry have not unpinned, so something going my way at last. Not sorry, way too salty. It's going brilliant game so far. So we're going into German movement. Okay, speaking of things going my way, 2 failed blitz moves on the Panzer IVs and Marders. So the Marders have had to move because the Panzer IVs were in the way and they were long range. So, well, let's fingers crossed my HQ might survive yet. Well, I've said it now. So there we go. So we go into German shooting. That's it. The Marders did it. My Shermans are gone. So that's formation is broken. Sorry. Infantry lost another base, but that is it, and Universal Carriers survived another day. So we go into British turn 8. Okay, so infantry have rallied and moved into the factory, so I still have 2 bases of infantry to kill somehow. And once these universal carriers and infantry are cleared out, it'll be me on the back foot with Frank finally being able to launch an attack. So we're going to go into shooting, and I might be able to get some artillery ranged in here. Now stuff has moved out of the way, so I'll try. I've got 40 inches of range with the mortars, so I'll see if I can do it. So I didn't quite have the range on the mortars to range in without being danger close, but I did for the Vickers heavy machine guns, and I managed to kill someone. So thankfully, that's range in second attempt. I got 2 more hits with both universal carriers, but no kills. So slowly getting ground down over here, but I still got the Germans bunched in for probably another good 5-6 turns. So let's keep going with the attritional war now. So German turn 9. German motivation, everyone's passed. No more pinned infantry, and the Panzer IV is available to go forward. So they need to clear up the sector first, and then onwards to glory. Okay, scout cars and Marders have backed away, basically intending to shoot into the factory. Panzer IVs have driven forward. Universal carriers who've been waiting to win this game for quite some time now, staring down the barrels of some big guns. Infantry have remained still, so we go into German shooting. Okay, so shooting, the universal carriers are gone, and I've lost a Brengen team, so the Vesp's already ranged in, so that is it. So we go into British turn 9. So I managed to pin the infantry again with the Vickers heavy machine gun, so infantry didn't rally, no movement, and went straight into shooting, so nice and easy. So we're going into German turn 10. Okay, so this is a turn summary. The Grenadiers did not rally. Therefore, the Panzer IVs drove around here and managed to bail 2 Universal Carriers. I lost another Brannigan team here, so I am not last standing. No, it wasn't a Brannigan team. It was the 2 IC who died, and that is it. So these are all pinned, but we still got a turn 10 for the British, and things are slowly starting to fade away. Okay, so Vickers heavy machine gun, so basically everything right past, apart from the Universal Carrier. So the infantry moved into the switching tower. My Vickers heavy machine guns managed to kill another base of infantry. And at that, me and Frank have agreed to call it a draw. Mainly it's going to take maybe 3 turns to secure this corner down here. And then Frank admitted he hasn't got the strength to come over and take my objectives, and I think Frank's experienced play, he said about turn 3 he knew it was probably going to end up being a draw. But yeah, so we going on to man of the matches, and I think this might be the first draw on the channel. It's just I thought maybe it might end up like this when we rolled for the scenario, it could be in the way it is. Man of the match, I don't know, I think I might give it to the Daimler Troop, because they are probably the closest to effectively winning the game for me. What do you think, Frank?
For myself?
No, I've gone for my Daimler Troop that almost took out the Panzer IV HQ as my man of the match. Thoughts?
And so my man of the match then, well, mine, it's probably going to have to be the Grenadiers.
Yeah.
Because they drove into that huge wreck, pile of wrecks, and just managed to stay there. If they hadn't have done that, then if they hadn't have stayed, it would have been game over.
Yes. And it was just unfortunate. I think the game-changing moment is when you're able to fob that Panzer IV hit to the already bailed one, because with the side shot from the Daimler, if that hadn't happened, the game would have ended there. But fortunately, it didn't, and as a result, we had a much more enjoyable game. A really, really enjoyable game, I thought. What did you think, Frank? I know, obviously, it's remote gaming. Did you enjoy it? What did you think?
Yeah, the remote gaming was fine from the other side of the camera, which is very unusual for me to do, but it worked fine. And as far as the game itself goes, well, that ridge, if that had been a hill, I would have been okay, because I could get up.
Yeah, that's true.
But because it was a ridge, I was like, I'm screwed. So I had to go and hide behind the buildings. But then, if you're forced having lots of little units, I then had to stick my neck out. So I thought, I'll go on the attack. And I actually did really well in getting loads and loads of hits, but failed every firepower, which put me on the back foot, because I knew that then the ridge had gone, there was no tall terrain for me to hide behind, and just you had one turn where you had really bad shooting, and if you'd have shot well, like that turn as well as you could reasonably expect to have got, that would have finished off my Panzer IVs. But as it was, he had one bad turn, and that gave me just enough time to bring up a bit of support and maybe finally cause a few casualties to your Shermans. But turn 3, I think, was really critical, just because the dice were not with you in that turn.
Yeah, it just faded away at the definite wrong time, and I think quite a few of my Shermans decided to drive away as well. Don't know what they were thinking when victory was so close at hand, but that's the Canadians. The Canadians not like that, but it was a very hard fought game in your corner, and it's kind of suited to you as well, being remote gaming. You don't want to be moving around a lot because it's very difficult to gauge everything. But it was, and I really enjoyed that game, and looking forward to playing on your channel and finally seeing what remote gaming is from the other side.
Yeah. I've got a short range stick, that helps.
Yeah.